I wonder where Ron is because I was going to let Ron ask my family
Just,
the question.
just go, just go ahead.
Huh? Are you busy?
Yeah, I'm hungry, and I'm.
Oh,
You can
well, we
eat.
told you
I
5
just
o'clock.
got back in the house.
Yeah, I just hit the record button now, so we're actually now recording. So my name's Jessica Boye. I'm the vice chair of the Cornelius Historic Preservation Committee. I've been serving on that committee for several years. I have a true passion and love for the Cornelius community, and I just love hearing the stories of our heritage. So I've been friends with Ron for several years, Lisa for several years, and Ron approached our committee a couple 2 or 3 months ago asking if we had any ideas of how we could collaborate to celebrate Black History Month this year, given the COVID restrictions weren't going to let us do our gathering at Town Hall and program there. So we came up with the idea of doing a virtual tour of Smithville. Now, we already have the town of Cornelius has a walking tour of the downtown area and the town center, but we don't have a lot of information about the history of Smithville. So we wanted to include that. And our goal is to have an actual walking tour with a map of the spots and the geographic locations over different time periods and how things change, where we could express what we learned through our research and now what we're learning from some of our community that's grown up there. And so the project has morphed from not just being a physical walking tour, but this virtual tour in which we're including all of these interviews with a lot of our community members, and we're going to kind of take tidbits of what everybody said and edit it into a one flowing video that's going to be, it's still going to walk around Smithville, but it will be something that we can all watch and share online. And then once the health regulations change and we can meet together and do this tour in person, we hope to do that as well, hopefully by the spring or summer. So anyway, that was a little more I planned to say. We want to hear from you, your experiences, your memories of the past, and what your vision for the future might be. Today we have Lisa Mayhew and Ron Potts are going to be the moderators. Hopefully, again, my name is Jessica. Julie Miller is sitting with us. She's one of the committee members working on this project. Lisa's going to, or Ron hopefully will ask each participant a question, and we're going to go around and take turns. And if after someone shares a story, you think of something else that you want to say, just kind of raise your hand or come interrupt, and we can make sure that everybody is heard. Just be aware that the Zoom's microphones are kind of sensitive, so we don't want to cut anybody off on accident. We want to be able to hear what they're saying. We want you to be comfortable to share your accounts, be honest. Me and Julie don't work for the town. We're just community citizen volunteers. I want to make that clear. I want y'all to be able to share all of your memories and your thoughts and your opinions from a very open place while knowing this is being recorded.
Excuse me.
Our goal is to, really share the stories of the heritage, to pass on the education and appreciation that is currently absent in our town's history, so that when people that live here in Cornelius that have moved here from all different places or grew up here that don't actually know why Smithville is such a gem of a place can learn to appreciate it. So when the time comes to talk about the future of it, that we're all on the same page. So we kind of have some sub goals going on, but I'm most interested to just hear just pick your brains and share your memories with us. Okay, Julie, do you want to add anything to our the intro?
Oh, no, thank you. But it's wonderful to see everybody. And I'm so glad to get a chance to hear your stories and share them with whoever comes and watches this virtual tour.
Okay.
You want to start?
Yeah, if you're good with it.
I'm fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Like Jess said, we're going to ask a series of questions and, you know, and we want to hear your answers and memories and everything. So I'm going to start with the first question, and I'm going to start with Armetta. What are your earliest memories of living in Smithville?
I I moved to Smithville when I was 3 years old. Um, and we moved in with my grandmother, Mother Carrie. And my earliest memories would be, I would say, church memories, going to church with her. And I would say it would be my church memories. And then I remember playing with my friends. It was always about four of us. Me, Kathy Potts, and Deborah Moore, and Elaine Withers. We always played together, played with our dolls. We played hopscotch. We played jacks. It was so many games we played outside. We didn't have the luxury of being on the computers like the kids do today. And those would be my earliest memories. And also attending school after we got school age. We went to Ada Jenkins School in Davison. So those would be my early memories.
Okay. Delours, before you answer, someone's television is on somewhere because we can hear it.
Oh,
I knew it was her.
I thought I had to turn down. I'm sorry.
Yes, you'll be able to cut that out, won't you?
Mm-hmm.
And
You
Ron,
should-
I'm only on question one, and
Okay.
Mom's gonna answer that, and you can start at question two. So, and I'm gonna try not to call you Mom too much, but Delores, what are your memories of living in Smithville?
Well, I guess mine are a little earlier than Armetta's. My memories are the Smithville School. I went to school there in the Rosenwald School there in Smithville. And I remember I went to the first grade. I remember I went from the first, I believe, to the fourth grade. And when I got into fourth grade, they closed the school and we had to go to Davidson. But I do have very fond memories of going there. I was able to walk from home to walk to school. And we didn't have a cafeteria, but we did for lunch. They would bring milk there. They would bring our lunch in. We would carry lunch too. And my grandfather had a store up on the corner. And somehow we were able to get, they would, somebody I guess would go and get it. I don't remember just how it went, but we were able to get cookies. And that's where I learned to eat ginger snaps. He would sell those ginger snaps for 1 penny. And I was able to get those. And but I think the county bought our milk and sandwiches there, but we could get our little snacks and things from Grandpa's store. That was Caldwell's store. It was just a little convenience store, and he sold a lot of things there. But anyway, I was talking about school. That was some of the things I remembered about school. I remember we also had the plays and little activities we had. We had an auditorium, and we had our classrooms. Our teachers, we had 2 teachers there, Miss Diamond and Miss Morris. And one had 2 grades, the first and second, and the other one had the 3rd and 4th grade at that time, because there were only those grades there at that time, if I'm not mistaken. There may have been another grade, but I think after you got in those grades, 6th, 7th, and 8th, I believe you would go to Davidson. But when I got to the 3rd or 4th grade, they closed that school, and everybody had to go to Davidson. And also memories of riding the bicycle, being able to ride the bicycle up and down there in the community. And Armetta's grandmother was my grandmother, and we spent a lot of time with her. And she lived over on, I lived on Smithville, South Hill. It was called South Hill when I was little, but I think they changed it to
It still is Delours.
it still is, okay.
Mhm.
I was on South Hill Street, and it was a hill, and we used to ride the bicycle up and down the hill, and we would even play hopscotch in the road. We could draw the things in the road because we were, wasn't a lot of traffic on that street, especially during the day while people were working. And we were able to do that, but we would spend a lot of time over on the other street, Ferry Street, which was Mother Carrie's house was there right below the church. And I spent a lot of time on that street too. I had friends on that street that I played with. But that was mainly, I think, and I also remember going to church. We all went to the same church up there on the corner, Union Bethel. And that was some of my memories.
Okay, Ron, you ready to start, or do you want me to continue?
So you are on number
Number two.
two. Okay. And so are you a member of a church? And so tell us some early memories of church, and have they changed now? And what church is it?
Wait, Ron, we can't see you.
Where is he?
Start your video. There you go. Okay.
So do I need to repeat it?
Yes.
Okay. Are you a member of a church? Tell us about early memories of your church, and how have they changed? And if so, in what ways?
You wanted, I thought Delours would start that, but
Oh, okay,
what
you
I
know what? And I
wanted,
didn't say. Okay, go ahead.
right. What I wanted to say to Delours was saying she played hopscotch and she drew the hopscotch in the streets. Did we have paved streets then, Delours?
Well, if we didn't, we could still draw them in the street because it was
Okay, on the dirt. Okay,
dirt.
I know we used to draw them on the sidewalk.
we-
We used to play.
We didn't have a sidewalk, but
Okay,
we had I'm not sure when the streets were paved down through there,
now I can't remember either.
before we moved up to Catawba, I think the streets were paved.
Oh yeah.
But I
Okay.
didn't move up there till I was like 15 or 16.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well,
But we had dirt in the yard. If we didn't do it in the street, we would do it in our yard. On the dirt.
I know Mother Carrie had a wide sidewalk. We used to draw and play the hopscotch right there.
But
But
it was a path. It was not a paved sidewalk though.
right, it was a dirt,
Yeah,
dirt
yeah.
sidewalk.
Mhm.
Well, I belong to Union Bethel Church on the corner, but they told us that we came out of Torrance Chapel Church. My grandmother and all them came out of Torrance Chapel, and then they came to Union Bethel, and I think it was Reverend William Stinson was the founder of the church up there on the corner. And I remember at an early age, I would try to my grandmother would be getting dressed for church, for Sunday school, and I would try to beat her getting dressed so I could go to Sunday school with her. And I just have fond memories at the church because we did a lot of things in church. We seemed like we partnered with Torrance Chapel. We went on a lot of trips as young people, and we went to conferences together. I don't remember too many church meetings. I was too young to attend a church meeting at Union Bethel, but now I do since I moved back. Um, I guess because we went to school with Torrance Chapel kids, all us went to school together, so it was never divided. We always did things together, the Bible school, the school trips, and things like that. I remember the speeches we had to learn and say in church, and I remember being young, and I would always cry when I get up to say my speech, but I got better at it. I didn't, because they started giving us money after we said our speech, so we got better at it. We wouldn't cry as much. But those are the memories that I have, as far as going to church at Union Bethel when I was young.
How about you, Delours?
Well, I have a lot of members. I think that our church, Union Bethel, was, I guess, opened in 1943. And that was the year I was born. So I don't remember us going to Torrance Chapel, but my mom and mother talked a lot about, they let us know from whence we come.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I do have fond memories of going with mother. She and a little lady named Miss Carter used to clean the church on Saturdays. And I would love to go with them to do that. I would go with them to clean the church. And for the first Sunday, mother would make the leavened bread and have the juice ready and everything. And I would eat up that bread when she made it. It wasn't that, it was flat and nothing in it to rise, it wouldn't rise, but oh, that was the best. It was like crackers.
Mm-hmm.
So she used to have to hide it from me because I would eat it. But anyway, that is fond memories. And let's see what else. Like Armetta said, we did do a lot of trips and things. We did have, we had Kristen the Devil was one of our things we did on Sunday evenings. That kind of got away. The AME Zion Church, I don't know, our church don't do that anymore, but that was something the young people did. We had that on Sunday afternoons at the church. And I also remember how, like I say, we used to do things together. I can remember a long time, we used to have one thing is Torrance Chapel would have their camp meetings. And we didn't go to church on that, so we would go there on that Sunday for the camp meeting. And that was one thing we loved to do, because we would go there, there was food, and we'd meet all our friends, and that was one affair that we always looked forward to. And another one was the anniversaries for the choruses at both churches. Torrance Chapel had their anniversary in March, and we had our anniversary. It was the Hallelujah Chorus, and the Torrance Chapel was the Stroller Singers. But we would have ours in June. But that was something that we really looked forward to, because the church would be packed and we would have choirs from everywhere. And we were just singing, everybody choir singing, and that was one thing. And also our homecoming was also, we didn't have camp meeting, we had the homecoming, and that was when all our relatives would come, and we would have a big Sunday there. That Sunday we would have dinner outside, and we would have, programs. We'd have preaching, of course, but that was another memory I remember. And I guess that's enough.
Okay, well, thanks, Delours. So we'll move on to, do you or a family member, I think.
Ron,
Delours,
let me raise my hand.
You still hear my phone?
Ron, listen, we can't, you're still doing this again today. There, thank you.
Please.
Yes,
Can you still hear my TV?
Yes, I
It
hear TV.
came back on.
I cut it off.
I thought I had it off.
I knew it was out.
I must didn't turn it off. I thought I did. I'm sorry.
So Delours, I think you already talked some about attending the Smithville Rosenwald School.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. So I guess I'll move to Armetta on this. And Armetta, did you attend an integrated school, and what was that experience like?
Okay. Well, my father did. My father, L.W. Nelson, did attend Rosenwald School. The only way I know that is I was trying to get his Social Security card once we moved back here, and we had to try to find school records and things like that to get his someone was calling me.
Okay.
That's how I know he went to Rosenwald, and it was so hard to find records, his records, school records, And I asked him, I said, "Did you go to school?" He said, "Yeah, I went to school." I think he went to school and he would leave a lot of time, But I attended school at Ada Jenkins. We started in the first grade, and I was in Miss Diamond's class. And we left Ada Jenkins. I think we went to the 7th grade, I think, at Torrance Lytle, 7th and 8th grade. And then we were the first class to go to the integrated school, to go to North Mecklenburg. And that was an experience to go there. I know we had a lot of fear about going there, and I guess they had the other kids had a lot of fear of us coming there. But some of the teachers were real friendly, and then some of them were not. So we had to deal with all of that, as far as doing your work. Some of them were willing to help you when others were not. So it was an experience, and I'm glad I had that experience.
So was it
I'm just glad. Huh?
Was it a pleasant experience?
Well, I wouldn't say it was. I would say it was.
You don't have to watch your words, Armetta.
Okay. I feel like it was we always were always at school where all the Black kids went together. And the year that we went there, it was Black and white. So we found out there were some things were similar, you know. Um, we learned that they were no different from us, you know. And schoolwork was schoolwork. And but you know, you had to deal with different personalities. You had to deal with riding the bus with them, and if we would sit in the seat that they were sitting in when you get on the bus, if that's the only seat was left, if you sat there, then they would get up and move. You know, we experienced all of that. So, but I feel like it was a good experience. You know, when I look at my journey, I was glad that I was able to go through that. You know, it wasn't you know how you see the kids when they Black kids when they went to school, the parents were out there throwing things at the kids. We didn't have to go through that. I guess we were way past that. But we did, as kids, we did experience different things, riding the bus and even going to the cafeteria. You know, you couldn't sit down beside the white kids because most of the time they would get up. But now that we look back on it, because our class was trying to get together and do different things and reach out to the community. Now that the other white students have grown up, they are looking back on some of the things that they could have done better. You know, they let us know that they would came to North Mecklenburg. They came from a different school too. You know, when we went, we were in there. I think it was the 9th grade that we went there. They came from a different school too. I think they came from the elementary school at Davidson, but I guess they were used to going, or Alexander. They came from Alexander. They went from Davidson to Alexander and then the North. So I think they were afraid to go there too. Everything was different for them. And a lot of we tried to get the classes together. For some reason, we can't get the 1968 when we had our 50th class reunion. For some reason, we couldn't get the 1968 class together. We had the Black students had their 50th, and the white students had the 50th at Noah. And maybe 2 or 3 of the Black students went there, but we just couldn't get it together. But we do talk to them. You know, they a lot of the students say, well, they didn't even know us and didn't want to know us, you know, when we were going to school together. But it's I talk to a lot of them now. They might call or whatever, but we're working on trying to get together because we need to get together. We need to heal, you know, from a lot of the things that went on there. But some of the teachers were real nice. Miss Daggy, she was one of the, she was my algebra teacher. She was very nice. She would do anything for you. She was the wife of one of the professors at Davidson College, and she was very nice. She'd go beyond, you know, helping you in any way that she could. I think that's about all I can remember.
Armetta, do you remember your classmate Woody Washam in your class?
No,
Okay.
no, I don't. I only remember him, you know, when we go to the community meetings, he was saying we look in the you know, our student
Yearbook.
yearbook. We look in the yearbook and he is there. So he was there, you know, but they didn't, unless you were an athlete. If you played basketball or football, they didn't try to get to know you, you know, and that's probably why we don't remember him, you know, when we were going to school there.
Okay.
I really
Before,
don't.
I have a question for Armetta, because this is interesting. So you graduated from North Mac. So my question to you now, did you all graduate together? Did y'all have graduation ceremonies? What happened when you graduated?
But we had graduation. We had the graduation ceremony.
Together?
All that was together at school.
Okay.
It's just now after we got out of school, you know how you have the reunions. None of them have ever called me for a reunion, but they did reach out to call us when they had the 50th, because they found out we were having a 50th too. So, but we never got together on the 50th reunion. They had theirs and we had ours. So, and that was strange, you know. I guess a lot of the other classes on their 50th, they got together. The 69 class of 69 and on up. They probably had theirs together, but I don't know. I guess it was a lot of animosity maybe with our class. We were the first, so we had to go in and pave the way for the other classes to come, you know. So
Now your class was also instrumental in changing the rebels to the Vikings.
yes, our class didn't change it.
Okay.
I would say it was the next class, maybe the 69 class. Our class didn't change it. We had to go there and be a rebel, you know, and we weren't rebels, but we had to cheer. I am a rebel. Couldn't be prouder. If you can't hear me, you say it a little louder. You know, we had to go there and say that, but we weren't rebels, you know. But I think it was the 69 class that got that rebel name changed.
Okay. Well, let's move on to the next question. Again, something that both of you are real familiar with. Do you remember the Smithville Community Men? If so, what do you remember about this group? So, Delours, I'll start with you.
Yes, I remember the Smithville Community Men. My dad was one of the members of that group. And I remember they did get the center open. The school had been closed. And I don't, but anyway, they acquired the community, the school, and opened it as a community center. Now I think they were instrumental in that because they had to go through the county, and it seemed like they were able to purchase that building for $1 or something. I might have that wrong. But I remember that talk of that. But anyway, yes, they were very instrumental there in the community, and they were instrumental in helping getting the water running through the community, and You know, we had outside toilets when I was a little girl, and they were instrumental in getting water down there so we could have bathrooms in our homes. And that's the one thing I remember. But they were a very active club, and
Mhm.
the wives, they started meeting as the women, and they would have different affairs there at the center. And uh, one of the members, I think, opened the restaurant in there, Mr. Ozon. That's the one man I remember. And the center was open for us on Saturday nights. And of course, we would be there. The bigger kids were able to go, and we had a piccolo in there, and had we would, oh boy, we would have to get to go to, we would be good. So we would be able to go to the community center on Saturdays and things that were going on, because, you know, we get in trouble, you know. I remember my older sisters and things, you know, they would think they could go and stay, and I'd have to come home, but I would have to go back and get them, because sometimes they would stay late, and mom and dad would send me back to get them, and I'd love that. I'd love that. My thing is getting, I thought I
Going
had,
back.
but anyway, yeah, that they did that, and they had the restaurant, and Mr. Ozon had the little cafe in there, and he sold some very good sandwiches, and fish sandwiches and hot dogs and hamburgers. And the center was open for us during the summer for Miss Nanny Potts got it where we could the center was open for recreation during the summer months. And they would bring food up there, snacks and things for us. And that was kind of a little after I had kind of gotten a little older, but they did open up the recreation for the summer for the kids. I met him, I can remember some more of that.
You know, my mother and father were members of that community club, and the fondest thing that I remember, I don't know if you remember it, Lord, they used to have an annual Christmas party, you know, yearly. And I remember just waiting for that. That was a big event for us to go to at the center. All the residents would go there. They'd have a big dinner. And for some reason, I remember them giving the kids presents. Because that's why I wanted to go, you know. But I remember that was a fun memory. You know, I remember that real well, going to that Christmas party every year.
Yeah, I think I remember that too. Yeah, they would have. I know. Seemed like they would give gifts.
Oh,
Something to that extent. I remember.
okay.
Okay. Okay, the next question is, do you recall when public services were brought into the neighborhood, such as electricity, water, sewer, trash pickup? Armetta, I'll start with you.
Okay. Delours probably knows more about that than I do. I was so young, we weren't interested in the electricity, and you know, we weren't interested in all that, you know. We, as far as I know, we always had electricity, and we did get the bathrooms in. I was young. I don't know what age we were when we got the bathroom into Mother Carrie's house. But I remember the club they used to have. It was Smithville, Davidson, and Huntersville. They had something like a 4-H club, that some kind of club like that, where you tried to beautify the community, and those communities were tried to do more than the other communities. It was a contest, and the Smithville community, we weren't incorporated with Cornelius. That's the way I remember it. We weren't incorporated with Cornelius, and we had to get incorporated. I think one thing we had to do was get street lights. And I remember the first street light that we got down here, and I think that they put it at the center, but that was one way that they worked together to beautify the yards and do different things to participate in this contest. So I do remember that, but as far as the other things, I can't remember about the electricity and gas and all that.
Okay.
Mhm.
I think one of the questions we have should have on here is, again, both of you already talked about Mother Carrie Nelson's house. And I don't know if both of you recall, but the historical side, they wanted to designate that as a historical destination. And so what are your memories of Carrie Nelson's house? Delours.
Well, I have very fond memories. Like I said, I lived over on the other street, over on South Hill Street, and Mother lived on Ferry Street. And then we didn't have telephones. And with our Mother Carrie, if she wanted us, she'd get on the back steps, on the back. Her back porch was real high. And I guess that's why her sound would, and she would call us. She would call Josephine. That was my mom's name. If we didn't hear, some of the neighbors would call us and say, Miss Carrie is Miss Joe, Miss Carrie's calling. So we know some of us would have to go over there to see what Mother was wanting. She was wanting just to go to the store or something like that. And I remember Mother, over there where the across the street there where the park is now, that used to be a cotton field. They used to raise cotton over there. And I don't remember ever picking cotton in there, but I remember Mother used to go and chop cotton, they called it. They chop around. When the cotton gets so high, she would go over there to chop around the cotton to keep the weeds from growing up in it. And I remember I'd go over there sometime with her just to be over there with her while she was doing that. But I never did that. But Mother Carrie did pick cotton. And she was the one that took us with her. We would go with her. Back then, the Black schools would close at 12 o'clock. During the cotton time to pick the cotton, we would get out of school a half a day so we could go to pick cotton, help those people that were growing the cotton, the white people that was growing the cotton. We didn't have the fields, but we would have to go. We didn't have to go, but we would go because you could make a little bit of money, And Mother used to go and Mother could pick cotton, and all of us got that experience, all of my sisters and brothers and my brother, because she would take us with her. And I remember one time we went with Mother to this place. It was a house out on Catawba Road. It was down Catawba, down past Chetan. And there was an old man came to pick us up. I don't know, Deborah? Was Deborah in there? Deborah, me, I don't think Sheila was. Francella, who lived up in the house above us at that time. And we were all, but Mother Carrie wasn't with us, but she would go with us sometime. I believe she was. And Mama was there too. But he had an A model Ford. And he'd come up and pick us up. We'd all pile up in that car. And one day we were coming home. He was bringing us home. Or it was getting ready to rain or something. And he didn't want to drive his car. So he went by his son's house to get his car. Because this was a little old man. He was as old as that little A model Ford. But anyway, we got out of his car and started getting in that man's car. And he came to the door and he said, "Get those," you know what he said, "out of my car."
Oh,
and you
boy.
talking about somebody hollering out and started crying. And we said, "We'll walk home, Mother. We don't want to ride. We don't have to ride. We can walk home." And then the old man said, No, get on in here. Get in my car. We'll go. I can take you in my car. But that was an experience that I had with, that the different race, the white and the black, But we never went back to pick cotton for that man. I remember that. But that was another thing I remember with Mother. And Mother had a garden down in the back, and we would go down there, and she had chickens. Mother would go out there and she'd wring the chicken's neck and kill that chicken and pick it and get it ready for Sunday morning dinner. Sunday afternoon, she's getting her dinner ready for the weekend, for Sunday. And we'd always have that good old fried chicken. Some of the kids wouldn't eat the chicken that you had raised. But I don't know. I guess that bother. I would rather eat that one because I know it. I knew what it had eaten. Because they would coop the chickens up until they wouldn't let them eat out, anything, and they would feed them and get them fattened up for us to eat. But I remember that Mother used to kill the chickens in the backyard, and she would wring their necks. And that was another thing I remember about that. And all the apple trees she had and peach trees in her backyard. Oh, that was, we used to love that. And another thing Mother Carrie she had sisters that lived across 77 now. Didn't be, before. I remember when that bridge was built there. And Mother Carrie had a sister and a brother. Actually, she had 2 brothers and a sister lived over across where that is now. I think it's about where the Dodge, that Chrysler company is there, right, and McDonald's. But it was further on down. We used to walk down there to go to. She'd go there if some of her brother or sister-in-laws were sick. She'd go to take care of them or see about them. And then there was one of her sisters lived all the way down, past Torrance Chapel Road to where Bethel Church is. And we used to walk all the way down there, and we'd go to spend the day, and we would have dinner and everything. But I think I did more of that than any of my other sisters and brothers. I was with Mother more than them, I think. But we'd go down to Aunt Meg's and play. That's she didn't have, her children were older, like my mama's age, but they had some children that used to come. They didn't have many children there. So I think that's why I've got this old spirit, because I was around older people a lot. And Mother Carrie would have me around them. And but we used to walk down there. And that wasn't nothing. We walked, Mother could walk that. I can't believe now how she walked all the way down to Bethel Church Road to Aunt Meg's house. And another thing we used to do, I used to do with Mother too, is pick blackberries. And we would do that right there where QT is. That field used to be a field there. And we would go cross that ditch there and go over, and then that was blackberries. And I used to go pick blackberries with her there. And but yeah, the house is still there and it's still standing, and it has been no, it's historical, and that's why we've been trying not to tear it down, but I don't know. That might have to happen. But we've gotten old and everybody have their own homes and things to take care of, so it's kind of hard. I had talked with somebody about that one time, about the historical people, to see if I could get some help with that. But at that time, they didn't have any funds and things for that. So that
I can tell that brings back a lot of fond memories, Delours. How
yeah.
about you, Armetta?
Delours was talking about historical, making the house historical. My our grandfather, Grandpa Richard, I think he helped build that house. And he helped build the church up there. And I think Daddy told me and there's a lot of other houses around that were around here that he helped build. And my dad told me we used to ride down, if you ride down Batesford Road, it's a church on the left. I think it's a Presbyterian church. He said that his daddy helped build that wall that they had running on the side of the church. I think it was the Presbyterian church, but he was I guess he was like a bricklayer or house builder or something. But that would be good if they make it historical. I had a lot of fun memories with Mother Carrie. I was young and I remember Mother Carrie walking, and I would go with her too. I guess she was older then. She didn't go as far as Aunt Meg's house, but she did. We'd walk across the bridge to Uncle Guy's house. And I remember walking across that bridge. She wasn't afraid, but I was afraid to walk across the bridge. And then she would walk down to Aunt Hattie's house down on 21. And we used to love to go down there because she had a well. And we would play getting with the well, getting the water out and drinking it. We thought it was so much better than the other water, But and as far as the field across the street from Mother's house, I remember us. I guess they weren't planting corn, but we used to take a blanket and spread out over that field, get us an area, trump it down, and we spread out a blanket there and we would sit on that blanket and play with our dolls over there. And we would have a good time playing over there. You couldn't see our heads after we sit down. And I guess the Lord took care of us because it was no snakes or anything. It's good we didn't see any, So, and I do remember begging my mother. I wanted to go pick cotton, to get a little change. You know how the carnival used to come uptown. and I begged her and begged. I said, they going to pick cotton. I wanted to go and make me some money. Oh, Lord. I just went that one day and I never went back again because I was just sick, and I didn't pick a lot of cotton, in my bag. And you had to stay there and wait till they take you back home, I never went back. That was the only day I went, and I never went back. So it was I didn't get much change for that, did I?
No,
Yeah.
I couldn't pick any either, but I just love to go just to be in the number.
Yeah.
But would always take food to eat, and
Yeah.
I'd lay up on the cotton and eat while they were picking. I could never. I maybe had picked 5 pounds in my life. I could never pick cotton. There was a girl that used to could pick the Robinsons. I don't know if you all remember her, Ailey Robinson, Miss Addie Forney's granddaughter. Oh boy, she could pick cotton. That girl could pick. She'd have 100 pounds and go. And I would watch her. I said, well, maybe. And I noticed she was dipping snuff.
Oh.
And I said, well, maybe that's why she can pick so much. She's dipping that. No. So I decided I asked her to give me a little bit of snuff.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, I wasn't no good. I got on the car. I had the worst stomach. I got high. It made me high. I couldn't do nothing but go lay there. But I never learned. I never could pick any cotton worth anything. But I love to go just to be with the kids.
Yeah.
Hey, Ron,
Okay.
I just want to add one thing about mother hollering across before the telephones. Well, when we got telephones,
Yeah.
hollered over the nana.
Still hollering.
She didn't use her telephone. She did not. We would go running because we heard her hollering. Go see what mother wants. So she still never used that telephone.
Yeah, that was her telephone. That was her telephone.
And of course, you guys know I grew up next door to Mother Carrie.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember her coming out on that back porch and calling Clement, Delours. She'd go through the whole roster of names.
She sure would, Rod.
Yeah. Well, let's move on. I think I kind of lost track of my questions because I was going back and forth.
7. Number 7.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Are your children and grandchildren still in the neighborhood? If they have moved, do you know their reasons? Delours.
Delours?
Oh, yeah, all of mine have moved. A couple, they've all moved from the area. They live, they're not. I have one daughter that lives over in the Concord area. And then the one daughter lives in Cornelius. I have 5 daughters. And the other 3 lives in Charlotte. But I think they left because, they grew up there, went to school there. But after they finished school and, went to college, those that went to college and they got married and they didn't stay in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I guess I left myself, once I got married and I lived in New Jersey for probably more than 26 years. And then I moved back here in our home house when my mom died, and I didn't want daddy to be here by himself. So we moved back here. But my kids have, I would say, one was down here in Charlotte, and the other 2 were in New Jersey. But now all of them are down this way. And because of the COVID and other situations, one of them is still here with us and a grands too. So I think they call this home, they'll look back one of these days and realize the fun memories they have here, also. But they're back here, and we have some good times when we have some bad times. So, uh-huh.
Well, that kind of leads us into the next question. What do you hope for the future of Smithville? Armetta?
Oh, I don't want them. I feel like they would like to one day come down. They'll probably want to come down through here and take a bulldozer and just bulldoze all our homes. But I hope they don't. I just feel like the community needs to be developed more, and we need, I would say we need better housing and better streets and sewage, and we need a lot done in this area because it's like a wetland, and you can see I know in my backyard I can see the gravel from the grass. You can see it going on down the hill. You have to keep bringing gravel in, trying to build it up. But I would like them to fix our streets and have more than one way in and one way out. uh, I want them to keep this community. I like for them to uh, redevelop the center, because that's a huge building that I know Miss Potts and all them, they used to have the summer camp for the kids to come and give them something to do in the summertime. And she always wanted to do for the kids. So I like for them to just don't let the center just sit there. It's been sitting there for years, and it needs repairs. And I like for them to redevelop the center and use it. Even the churches could use it. It'd be a place you can have things, the groups at the church could use it for different things. But I would like for them to redevelop Smithville and let this always be I can see them building new homes, and more people coming in, and we can tell them our old memories about Smithville, get them interested. But I just want them to keep this, because it's a lot of history here in Smithville, and so I would like for them to keep this little town.
Okay. Thanks, Amanda. How about you, Delours?
Yeah, something like I met her. I'd like to see it, stand, the homes that are there. Maybe the homes that the people are still there, maybe get help getting their homes revitalized or redone. And I think the Nanny Potts Road, I was very disappointed when it wasn't opened up to Smithville.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I hope to see,
Mm-hmm.
that is open up. And, and the land down there is land down there that they can do, you can't afford a home in Smithville, Cornelius now. And if they could do something, maybe build it's land down there that they could build affordable homes, you know,
Mhm.
apartments or something for the people, you know, that needs them, you know, and some of our kids might come back, you know,
Mhm.
some of them still live in apartments or maybe some homes that some of the homes on some of the land where there is no home. I'd love to see that, but I
Mhm.
don't know if I'll be able to, but maybe
Yeah.
somebody will.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was very disappointed when they put that block there. You know, I rode up the Nanny Potts Street, but it's blocked off from Smithville, and I'd like to see that open.
Mhm.
So I'm going to move to another question is, are you aware of the housing and redevelopment plans presented by Willie Jones and Neighboring Concepts? And what do you think about those plans? Delours, you want to go first?
Yes, I am aware of that, and I would like to see that materialize. I'd like to see that get done. That maybe you know, with a lot of the land that's still there that there are no homes on, hopefully they can get some of that and build. I've been in several of his meetings with that project that he's trying to get going, and I'd love to see that develop there in Smithville. That would help a lot.
And
Armetta?
yes, I been in a lot of meetings with Willie, and I hope it does materialize. I think because of the COVID, a lot of things had to stop.
Right.
But we need something done here because we need to build up the in construction or the land. The land needs to be built up. There's so many creeks and you know all that needs to be
Mhm.
reconstructed. And he was talking about putting more than one home on a piece of land, you know, and that would be good. And so I hope it does materialize. I feel like it's a good idea. I know a lot of people are selling their homes or their property in this area. So I hope, you know, they were talking about buying up some of the land, uh, selling it to the coalition. And I don't know if the COVID stopped them from being able to buy the land, but that's a good idea. Those that want to sell their land, they could sell it to the coalition so they can use it to keep this little community rather than, you know, having other people coming in, buying the land and putting big homes on it, and then it drives up our taxes here. So I hope that they'll be able, that his plan will be able to materialize. And maybe not, I hope it'll be in my lifetime.
Same here, Armetta.
Uh-huh.
Well, that kind of leads me. So actually, Willie's plan and the neighboring concepts has already been presented to the town. And again, we are hopeful that the town is going to be coming and supporting us. So
Uh-huh.
speaking of that, we want to ask you, what do you think of the town's leadership? Uh, Ametta?
Uh, I I feel like it's getting better.
Okay.
A lot of times we didn't know what was going on, you know, down here. But with the help of the coalition and the things that the coalition's doing here in this community, is making it a better community. And it seems like you all go out for, you do things that hadn't been done in years. You all are helping with some of the kids down here, getting them into programs, into you're feeding the families. It's a lot that you're doing. But the leadership, I think, is getting better than it was. At least we are aware of things that's happening around us, before it's already done.
How about you, Delours?
Well, I think they could do better. I think they could do better.
Okay.
Speaking of the Smithville area, like Armetta was talking about the water, it's like wetland there. All that needs to be taken care of. And I think they could have done some of that by now. And we're down between those homes on the the left side of
Very Street.
Very,
Mhm.
very.
right, and the ones that's the backing up to the houses on Ferry, that land down through there needs to be developed.
Right.
And I think that's something they could have started doing
Right.
and helping the coalition to get those things done. So I think they could do better.
Well, I just have one other thing, and that's to ask either of you if there's anything else you just like to add to this interview. Armetta, I'll go back to you for that.
What is it, Ron?
If there's just anything that we've omitted in our questions that you would just like to discuss about Smithville, you don't have to.
Well, the reason I was saying the leadership is better is because we've come a long ways. It should be better, but we've come a long ways here in Smithville, and it seemed like it was a slow process. Why wasn't this? If we were given this land, why were we given this land like this? Why wasn't this little town incorporated? It was like they come to a certain point. It'd be Cornelius all the way down to a certain point, and then it was Smithville. It was like we all Cornelius, but they kept us a little separate community where we didn't have what Cornelius had. The streets, the creeks, and all this should have been developed long time ago. I think they talked about that for a while, but I guess it's a slow process. It should be better. We just got sidewalks, paved sidewalks, So slowly they're getting things done, but we'll soon be washed away, if they don't soon get something done. So I hope they'll move faster.
Delours, anything that we've omitted?
No, I think you all got it covered. As far as I know.
Okay.
But I enjoyed this.
Yeah, it was nice talking about old memories,
Yeah.
Make you laugh, look back on things and laugh about.
Yeah, because it also, with me being on these interviews, I see y'all raised us just like y'all were raised. So
Uh-huh.
my generation that was in Smithville, I can, and I really, I mean, although I moved, we moved when I was in the 5th grade, but I still came to Smithville in the Davidson area. And it seems like after, I would say I might have been in the 8th or 9th grade, although I was in Charlotte, that's when it seems like it started changing, and the values that I grew up on kind of started dwindling away because it seemed community started to part and because people started leaving and going other places. But I'm grateful that I was able to be raised the way that I hear
Mhm.
raised. And so now I know, and I think I said it on another interview, now I know why I'm always, no, we fighting, I see, because that's what Smithville has done all their lives, and they've never given up.
Mm-mm.
Out, but they've really never given up. And now I think that we have a voice. I think hopefully it'll stay. But this helped me a lot too.
Yeah.
And okay, that's why you acting like that.
Mm-hmm.
Your grandmama and then your mom. Y'all went through some stuff, and I it, at least stays some part of Smithville. If we can only have a marquee that says
Smithville.
I'll take
Yeah.
that too.
Uh-huh. It's
But
made us to be the people that we are because we went through all this. We become strong people,
And
Yeah.
that's a consistent theme that we've heard as we've talked to everybody.
Uh-huh.
That
Yeah.
Smithville has made us who we are,
Yes.
and
That's
everybody
right.
has fond memories of it. So those are the things we're trying to preserve.
Right.
So thank you,
Mhm.
guys.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hey,
All right.
Okay.
Waiting for
Yes.
Jess.
Just thank you guys so much. I mean that my heart just got filled up. I mean, this has been our 3rd set, and I've heard so much of like similar Miss Diamond, all these
Yeah.
people, and that had these impressions, and that y'all, the community ties are so strong. And if we could just share these experiences, share this appreciation, I think it would go such a long way when it comes time to really unify and define the future. And however, we got to work with all the moving parts to make sure that that could be the best outcome possible. And it just starts right here with y'all's hearts and y'all's stories. Got our work cut out for us as far as editing this up and making it a nice cohesive video, but I think we can do it. And y'all all get an email or a notice when it's ready. And if there's anything that comes to surface later on that you didn't get to talk about, you've got our info. Give us an email. We'll try to include that at a later time, just because I don't want to lose this momentum of everybody's wheels turning. And that's all I got. Good night and thank you.
Well, before you go,
Okay. Good night.
before
Wait
you
a minute.
go, did you talk about the obtaining the signatures?
Oh, well, yeah, Ron needs to get a release form that y'all have to sign. Technically, we have to have your signature on file so that when this is shared in a public forum that we had your permission to do that. So everything's been recorded. So if you don't live close to Ron, I guess we could mail it with a self-addressed stamped envelope, mail it back, or you'll just need to get with him and he's just got to come by and get your signature on there.
okay.
Okay.
This should be publicized February 20th, correct?
That's our goal. Yeah, as long as we can get in the editing room. And what we have is we have a history lesson with still photos of some of the old photos that when we've been doing our research, going through church archives, Jack Kennard's archives, Ron's family pictures. I got some of Lisa's family pictures somehow. I think Jack had them. And just hearing all those. And so we've got a timeline. And then we're going through 10 to 13 actual spots in Smithville where we will stop at this corner, stop at this house, talk for a little while, integrate your stories with that kind of narrative. We have a lot from the Rosenwald School. Obviously, we weren't sure exactly what everybody was going to be able to remember and talk about. And so now Yeah, so that's how it's supposed to go. And then we'll stop at the end of the presentation and talk a lot about the future. Now, everyone will probably have some of their quotes and stories in the main video. And then when the video is over, we'll provide a link if any other people would like to go and watch the full thing, in which we'll just basically show what we just did, so that it'll be preserved for generations to come. And then one day, whenever COVID has no longer a threat, we'd like to go out and do this in person and then invite people to come, and we just do a nice walk around and recollect again, and then just continue to build upon it. Did I cover that right, Ron?
I think you did.
Okay.
Good.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank y'all. Have a good night. I'll
Uh-huh.
talk to you tomorrow.
Good night to you. Nice
All right.
meeting you.
Nice to meet y'all. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.